What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Country Bunkers Trains. Hope you're doing good. We're continuing on with our expansion project that we've been working on the second layout, and we've gotten a lot accomplished. We got quite a bit of work done this past weekend. I'm pretty impressed, actually, with how much I was able to get accomplished. I do apologize in advance. I've been a little bad. I haven't gotten a whole lot of footage of what I've been working on. I've gotten kind of in the zone. But to be honest, it's not a whole lot of fun what I have been working on. This is probably my least favorite part of building the layout. Doing the bench work and stuff like that. It's not really my thing. Obviously, yeah, it needs to get done. But like I say, it's just not my favorite thing that I look forward to doing. I did get some footage, though, or some pictures at the least, of what I've been working on, and I figured we'd go over those starting out. As I mentioned in the last video, we were going to start here in the back corner and work our way forward towards the sliding door, as to not box ourselves in. I've got these really nice high-top bar stools that come in really handy for holding track up in places where there is no layout to support it. I use these to hold the track and then take my measurements to cut the new benchwork and tabletop. Once everything is measured and we got a rough idea of everything, obviously we head out back and start cutting up the wood and getting it ready. Here you can see we start placing the new benchwork. This one was a little tricky. I still use the little tables and drawers that are under the layout, so I had to keep an open space in order to access them. But once the benchwork was built, we cut the new tabletop, got a rough idea of it. And once it was secured down, I went through with a jigsaw and trimmed it down to size. I wanted to leave a nice little walkway so you could access all areas of the layout and still be able to maneuver around the train room. I'm actually pretty happy with how this worked out. It was a lot better than I had originally anticipated. With the rear of the table now complete, we can now focus on the front of the table, or the spot near the sliding door. Here we went through the exact same process. Used the bar stools to support the track, get our measurements, and go out back and cut all the new lumber, and as well as the new tabletop. Once everything was cut and finalized and secured, I went through and cut the bulk or excess off with a jigsaw, and here you can see the finished result. Again, a little bit better than I had originally anticipated. It is still quite tight now here in the train room, but like I say, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was able to reuse and repurpose all of the old grass mat that came off of the elevated section of the old layout and reuse it here on the new spots of the layout, which is always a good thing. That helps save a few bucks and furthers our budget. I haven't cracked open that new grass mat we picked up quite yet. However, it will still get used, and I'll probably still have to pick up another one once we get the elevated section back in place, as well as a new elevated piece that is going to be getting installed sometime in the future. With the new extensions now added to the table and the grass mat replaced on the table, it was finally time to start laying the new track. Once again, I didn't get a whole lot of footage of any of this, but however, there's really not much to see here. I like doing it the old-fashioned way by trial and error. I like fitting things together, seeing what'll work, what won't work, and what'll fit and won't fit. I don't like using the software programs. Like I say, I like it the old-fashioned way. Get your mind working and your brain thinking. So like I said, there's not really a whole lot to see here, just trial and error, seeing what'll fit. However, I do think we got a pretty good track plan that's coming together, and I think it's looking pretty good. Now, going through this trial and error phase, I do not completely assemble the tracks in place. I'll assemble half a curve or maybe half of a loop. However, loosely place the straight pieces and other curved sections in place where I think it's going to go, and I'll work my way around the layout, seeing if everything's going to work together. Once I get everything loosely placed and it looks good, that's when I'll start attaching the track sections together to ensure that it's going to work. This is usually when I find a lot of adjustments and some tinkering is needed. I'll discover, maybe a full straight section isn't going to work here. I got to use a half a straight section. Maybe this curve isn't going to work here. It's binding, it's too tight, or it's too loose, or the track doesn't fit right. Again, just going through all that trial and error phase. I've finally gotten through all of that, and that's where we're currently at with the layout at the moment. Everything is fully assembled and in place where I believe it is going to go. However, it is not finalized. All the track is going to have to come back apart to go through all the different various sections of track and make sure everything's going to work together. However, we'll go through that in the next video. I will say we got extremely lucky. I used up every piece that we purchased at the train show in Roundhouse the other day, as well as all the pieces I had left over from the layout behind me. I was left over with only 2 pieces that will be getting used, however was not needed to create the 2 main lines that you're about to see here on the layout. I was pretty shocked at how well that worked out. We're obviously going to have to pick up some more track for the upper sections, as well as some other spots here on the layout that we're about to go over. What do you guys say? Are you ready to check out the new layout with its 2 new main lines and all of its current glory? As I say, obviously we still have quite a bit of work to do. However, we have made quite a bit of progress. What do you say we check it out? Well, there she is, guys. Check that out. Pretty cool. As I was mentioning earlier, obviously the train room is getting quite a bit smaller. However, it is actually quite a bit better than I had originally anticipated. We still have quite a bit of room to maneuver the train room, which is definitely a good thing. For the longest time, the first layout, or the layout behind us, has been known as the big layout, simply for being more finished and taking up a good size chunk of the house. This one's always been a little bit longer than that other layout, however quite thin. Obviously, this new layout has taken over the train room, and I do believe is quickly going to become the centerpiece of the train room. I think the thought in my head worked out pretty good. Like I say, we can still maneuver and walk around in here, and when we have friends and family come visit, we can still get people in here to enjoy the trains rather than just being boxed into a corner. We got this nice little walkway coming in. I do got to give the missus a good bit of credit. I do love her dearly. When I was building this table, she was trying to convince me to just say to hell with it and leave that doorway blocked off and just fill in this whole side of the house with layout. Yeah, it does sound like a great idea, but again, I want to be able to walk around, and it wasn't needed. However, she was egging me on. Some quick stats on the layout. Back here, the layout is 9 feet wide. The layout is now 20 feet long, whereas it was originally 19 feet. And this width over here is just over 6.5 feet, but we'll call it 6.5. Pretty decent size, at least for this room. As you can see, this is obviously the new track plan for the main lines here on the lower level of the layout, and it worked out pretty good. We've got an 054 center loop with an 071 outer loop. I did really want to do 2 072 or 071 loops on this layout. However, as you can see, it just wasn't possible. I would have had to use an 082 outer loop over here, or some 072 with some straight pieces to extend the curve, and like I say, there just isn't room here for that, and I didn't think it was going to work out. My big ass can barely squeeze through that as it is. So we had to stick with 71 and 54, but it worked out quite well. Much better versus the 031 we had in the middle before. As I say, the inner loop is all 054 except for this curve right here. These are some leftover pieces that I had. We've got an 082 curve section, half of an 054, and another 082, and this worked out really well. It fit perfect. I did do this for a reason, besides just looks. As you guys might know, we picked up some of those Woodland Scenics 2% grades, and this is where the engines are going to be traveling uphill. I didn't want to use a tight curve right here. I wanted to leave it as straight as possible. That way we're not going to have, hopefully, fingers crossed, any issues with engines getting stuck or slipping here crawling up the hill. But we're going to have to see how that works out. We'll go over that in a future video. I am really looking forward to installing some grades on the layout. However, in that same token, I'm a little nervous. I've done grades before in the past, and I've never really had much luck with them. Granted, they were the factory MTH Realtrax grade pieces, which is fairly steep, I think like 4 or 5%. I'm hoping these 2% grades are going to work out. Obviously now we're running bigger, heavier engines, and we got much wider radius curves, so I'm hoping that'll cure it. However, in that same breath, we're going to be running much longer and heavier trains, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. These 2 loops are connected, as you can see here. That outer loop connects to the inner, which then leads to this other switch, and this is going to lead into another rail yard over here. Gotta have a rail yard on the layout. I love the looks of them, but they also serve a great purpose of storing some engines on the layout whereas when the shelving is full, we got somewhere to put them. I did toy with the idea of adding a couple more switches over here to connect the tracks again. However, I've decided it's really just not needed. The only reason I've got this switch installed, or these switches, is so I can bring engines from the outer loop into the rail yard, and vice versa, bring engines out of the rail yard out to the outer loop. I don't do a whole lot of switching. I'm obviously just a loop runner. That's what I get my enjoyment from. I'm not a big switch operator. I could sit in here for hours watching these things just run in circles, which I can and do. We will be reinstalling the elevated area that was over here originally on the layout, and of course have an elevated line running around the top of the layout. I also want to install another elevated section on the opposite side, or this side of the layout as well. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll save that for future videos. For now, we got to focus on the track work and getting this up and running, which is what we're going to do in the next video. Hopefully in the next video, we'll get all this track work together, and we'll be able to finally start running trains on the layout once again. One last unnoticed, however very nice item we got finished up was reinstalling the carpet in the train room. I had to recut and reform the carpeting for the new legs and supports on the table. I picked this carpet up for free from work a little while back. No, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I'll tell you, it makes a world of a difference standing on this versus just the bare cement. Much, much more comfortable. So I'm very happy to have it reinstalled here once again. What do you guys think of the new layout and the new track plan so far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I know I'm probably going to break a couple hearts right off the bat. One of the more popular opinions or thoughts that I see quite frequently here on the channel, at least every other video, is comments stating that we should install some swinging or lift bridges in between both layouts here and have the trains running between the two layouts. It is a good thought and it does sound great. However, unfortunately, I do not have that in the plans or the works for now. I'll never say never, as I always say, but it's not really in the plans. Being we just finished up, not finished, but you guys know what I mean, the layout behind me. I'm not looking to tear it up or anything like that. And B, I really like having access, easy access to the door right here. I do still use this door. And I also look at it from a safety standpoint. God forbid if our house was ever to go up in flames one night, I don't want to be fighting bridges to try and get out because this is the closest exit to us. Our bedroom's right here behind that sliding door. Like I say, it's just not something I'm looking to do for the time being. But again, who knows, maybe in the future. One last item I wanted to make note of on this video is, yeah, we've made quite a bit of progress in a short amount of time here on the layout. However, this layout is going to take quite a while to build. We were able to build or construct and expand the layout behind me within 6 months. However, that was mainly due to having just about everything already on hand. Yeah, I had to pick up some new stuff along the way. However, I had the bulk of everything already on hand. This layout, yeah, we've got our track now and we've got our benchwork, obviously. However, we're starting from scratch. We have to get everything else to go along with it. So this is probably going to take a couple of years to build, which is something I'm really looking forward to. Like I say, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also going to hopefully give us quite a bit of good content for quite a while here on the channel, which I think is a really good thing. I hope you enjoyed this quick little update video. I do apologize, there obviously isn't a whole lot of action or stuff to see. However, it is something I'm really looking forward to and excited for. I hope you guys are as well. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. A big salute to all of you guys, and a salute to the new layout. But anyways, guys, until next time, my name is Zach, and this is Country Bunkers Trains. Y'all take care. I'll see you the next go-around.